So, is there any way we can build positive organizational cultures? Now that we understand that organizational culture is one of the most complex and probably the most problematic aspect of the work we do as social workers, is there any way we can challenge negative organizational culture and promote positive organizational cultures? So this question probably is a difficult one, and there is no single direct answer to it because culture itself, as we said, is complex, and you don't just change it, in a very simplistic way. But if we can think of a few tips, and these are probably not the only tips out there, but really just drawing on the insights from the readings of this week, we can observe that organizations can change their cultures in embedding clearly articulated organizational values into mission, recruitment processes, trainings, and everyday routines so that shared assumptions are consistently developed to guide behavior and performance. And I think this is speaking to really a question of transparency as to what the organizational culture and norms are, so that new workers will be quite informed and they can start behaving accordingly. So organizations can change also their culture or can promote positive, strong organizational culture by reinforcing desired norms through structured socializations, as we said, which are really aligned with rewards and recognition systems that strengthen motivation, communication, and collaborative practices among the workers. Organizations can also promote positive culture by enabling staff members' autonomy and voice within safe, supportive teams so practitioners can get to exercise professional judgment and address risks or concerns before they even escalate. So the key question is also, can students on placement or even new workers get to positively influence organizational culture? The short answer is yes. As a worker, as a new worker, and even as a student on placement, you can actually play a big role or your own role in influencing the organizational culture of where you work. So I would be glad by the end of your placement if you can tell me clearly what is that you've been able to do while on placement, which you feel like made a difference in the organizational culture. But again, here, just again, really reminding us about some key tips, such as asking reflective questions that surface hidden assumptions. And maybe that's one of the starting points, that you can't challenge what you don't know. And as we saw, organizational culture, many aspects of it are quite hidden, and you need to be, curious, asking questions, so that you get to understand really what's happening. And only when you understand things, then you can be able to even challenge them or just align with them if those also align with the values important to you. So also modeling values aligned practice. If respect is something important to you, and I believe it is, curiosity, ethical thinking, then model those as much as you can in your interaction with peers and colleagues and even senior managers. And that will be another way, probably, of you contributing to the work culture. And of course, participate actively in supervision and reflective discussions. I believe it's not uncommon to see students who have been on placement and who have actually inspired the supervisors they have been working with. While I was on placement, for example, one of my placement, I did it with children who were transitioning from armed groups, so former child soldiers. And one thing I can think of quite quickly is I actually was able to elaborate a small project which my supervisor then took, and it ended up being funded, and it was just another addition to what they were already doing in supporting and empowering those young people who were transitioning from their lives of being child soldiers to transitioning to normal community members. And I think that made a small but very significant difference to the organization where I was doing this placement. So what I'm trying to say here, and we are taking this from Mahatma Gandhi, is that you must be the change you want to see in the world. And of course, it is possible for you as a student on placement to positively and actively influence the organizational culture of where you are working. Thank you very much, and feel free to ask any questions where they come. Bye bye. See you soon.